Hey everybody, my name is MetalMusicMan.
And I'm Professor Lex.
And this is episode 42 of the Metal and Lex podcast. We have a special guest for you today. Level 40 Raichu. This guy is hanging out. Say hi, say hello, sir.
Hello, I'm level 40 Raichu.
That's him.
It's true.
He's a man. He plays.
It is confirmed.
He plays Smash things, and we're going to talk about some stuff today. We were going to talk about patch 10.1.0 or whatever it is. I don't remember the numbers, and then we decided
it has huge implications. It has huge implications for the future of Smash. They removed the Sephiroth challenge.
Did they really remove it?
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah.
So that's gone.
I didn't even know.
You can't quick unlock Sephiroth anymore. Now you have to buy him and get him the normal way.
So yeah, I don't know. So that got shot, but we're gonna go over some stuff with we'll talk about some Smash things. But first, what did everybody do for Christmas? I did Zoom time with my family, and it was a lot less awful than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was just going to be like horrible,
awkward sitting. And staring.
and then like my nephews like not knowing what was going on, and my aunt not knowing what was going on, and there was a little bit of that, but it was actually pretty fun. And my nephew Eli, who is not supposed to listen to this podcast, got
shout outs to Eli.
I guarantee he's gonna listen to this fucking episode. He's gonna hear it. He's how old are you now, Eli? 9? Are you 10? Something like that.
Let us know.
He's 9 or 10. He's not supposed to listen to this. And he got an MP3 player for Christmas, and I was helping him. His mom asked me about his MP3, like how to get him an MP3 player. My sister, and I was like, "Well, nobody really uses MP3 players anymore. They just use phones." And she's like, "Well,
I use my Zune. My Zune is currently wired up in my car. I've got the aux cable running to my Zune, and I got a power cable running into the other end."
Evil hipster, you.
Sorry, those are like the best MP3 players.
They really are.
Zunes were the shit. I had a couple Zunes. Yeah, I bought my brother a Zune, and he used it like 10 years past the expiration date. But anyway, my sister did not understand. She did not understand that when you get like an MP3 player, you can't use like a streaming service, like Amazon streaming or iTunes streaming. She was like, "Well, I pay like $10 a month. Why can't I put my music on his MP3 player?" I'm like, "Marcy, this shit's old. It's a $30 MP3 player. You got to download the MP3. You got to like put it on there." Anyway, long story short, where this whole thing is going, I'm helping him set up his MP3 player over like remote host computer session. I'm like showing him how to install it and quote unquote install it. Plug in the USB cable, drag and drop files, right? So I'm showing him how to do that, and I'm getting ready to finish up, and he's like, "So like let's just like hypothetically." He didn't use the word hypothetically, but he might as well.
I assume he did.
Yeah. Hypothetically, if I like wanted to listen to a podcast on my MP3 player, could I listen to a podcast? And I was like, "Oh yeah, what podcast? Well, I don't know, just any podcast, anyone you think. Could I do that? Is that a thing I could do?" I was like, "Well, it depends on if the podcast allows you to download it or not." So anyway, Eli, you are a sneaky bastard, but you're not that sneaky. And
is this not downloadable? They can't bring this in.
I think I do have a download link. Maybe.
Okay, but we won't list that for
Maybe
Eli.
Not. I don't remember.
Yeah, because
anyway.
this is
like Eli. If you're not listening, you could always download the YouTube video using a website and then listen to it in MP3.
YouTube to MP3.
So yeah, I'm sure he definitely won't do that with this podcast. But yeah, that was my Christmas. My mom drove over some appetizers, like the appetizers she usually makes. She like dropped them off and I heated them up in the oven, so I got to eat all the same like family food we usually eat. It was fun. It was, all things considered. Yeah. Similar for you guys, or did you see anybody in person? What'd you guys do?
I did see my parents in person. It was me and Jen, and then we went over to my parents, and they have my little brother. So it was five people. So we went over, and then we ate food, and then like we just left. We were like, we've had all the food.
That's very
now
Christmas.
It's time to leave. Yeah,
we went over and we ate and we left.
My Aunt Debbie came over. She did a drive-by Christmas cheer. So she dropped off some like fudge and some garlic olive oil biscuits. It was great.
That's
honestly,
a lot better than just Aunt Debbie doing a drive-by, which that pause for a second made me think about. Like she just showed up. She was like, "Merry Christmas, motherfuckers," and just like fucking.
Yeah, no, not quite like that. No,
that's probably good.
Instead, it was treats.
It's okay.
Treats.
Yeah.
That was second best. The gunshots you were really hoping for.
Yeah.
It was on my list.
Yeah, I just I worked like 7 a.m. to like 11 a.m. and
Oh
then,
my god.
That fucking
On
blows.
Christmas Day?
What do you do?
Yeah, Christmas Day.
Raichu,
I work
that's awful.
customer service / technical support for a cell phone company.
Fuck that.
It's not bad. I literally took one call the entire day.
Well,
Nobody
that sounds way
called.
better.
Yeah,
But-
I was just watching House of Cards all day, so I was vibing.
Have you
Nice.
seen House of Cards before?
I've seen the
yeah.
first season.
You have?
This is my 4th watch through.
Okay, I have one question for you.
hmm
Why? Why are you rewatching House of Cards? I loved that show until it was so awful. That last season is like the most terrible thing ever.
But think of how much of the show isn't the last season.
That's
so if he's doing like
fair.
a full watch along.
I didn't finish the last season because I watched 2 episodes and I was like, oh yeah, this is horrible. And like, so I didn't watch the last season, but everything up into that is great.
Yeah, it's
After-
pretty good until that last one. And honestly, Robin Wright tries really hard to like
She does.
make it work in the last season, but it's just so bad. Like nothing makes any sense. It's awful.
For me, since I haven't gotten there, is that when Kevin Spacey got shit canned?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
So
really,
he wasn't in the last season.
okay,
Yeah.
I'm not going to give you any spoilers, actually. But let's just say hypothetically that the end of the series was that they were like, well, President Frank Underwood, that's his name, right?
Yep,
They're like-
that's
like,
actually his name.
What happened? Why? What's going on with him? Like, you know, what's the deal? Why isn't he here? How did things occur? What's going on? They're basically like, yeah, man, he decided he really liked Jell-O, and he just like built himself a house made out of Jell-O, and he lives there
Decidedly
in the
not
Jell-O
cards.
house now, and yeah, and that's basically like the quality that you get, and like, and you're just supposed to.
Strong resolution.
You're just supposed to take it. So yeah.
No,
anyway.
I mean, what else can you do?
Yeah, but anyway, so you watched for the 4th time because you're a masochist, right? You House of Cards. Oh, you appear
You're
to
a
be
little
muted.
on the muted
You
side.
appear to be muted.
Oh, also I watched Breaking Bad before that. I've been watching like comfort stuff, like
Okay.
stuff I like. So yeah, I've seen that probably 4 times.
I've only seen Breaking Bad once. I really liked
Once is enough.
season like 3 and 4 of it, which was that's like the chicken storyline, right? Where
That
Gus
was
is
the best
That's when it's-
Gustavo thing.
Yeah, that's when it starts getting like really good. Honestly, like that's a lot of people say. I've had a lot of friends that are like, I don't like it because it's really boring, and that's when it starts not being boring at all. You know, a lot of drama is going on.
It takes
It's,
a while to get started,
intense.
I think, but it's a solid show. I probably would watch it again. I need to watch The Mandalorian because I keep hearing good shit about it, and I haven't
I
seen
haven't
it.
seen that either.
You
I
should
haven't
watch
seen it either.
Ozark. Ozark is
I've heard
basically
Everyone-
Breaking Bad, but better.
Everyone says that. I've heard
Yeah.
that from a lot of people, and
I wonder if it's true. You should find out.
I don't know what
I
it
might.
is. I like Jason. What's his name?
Bateman.
Thank you. I wanted to say Statham, and I was like, this is not.
Yeah, Jason Statham.
This is not correct. I like him, but there's something about like I just see that show. I just see like the previews of it, and I just like don't want to watch it. I don't know why.
No, just watch it. Just
okay.
don't look at the previews.
You got me
don't,
there.
Don't look at the previews if they're psyching you out. Just watch the show instead.
You got me there.
That's the trick.
So yeah, you worked your long shift and watched some shit, and you just been big vibing pretty much after that, and whatever. Or you got
I
any
just
time off?
literally listen to music. I worked today, and then I just played in that Smash bracket today. That's about it. Honestly, I don't do anything. I don't leave. So
Well,
it is COVID outside.
sitting in my room.
Oh, the COVID outside is COVID. Yeah, I can feel you with that. So you had mentioned we'll segue a bit here to our quote unquote main topic of a
Main
non-topic
topic.
that no longer exists, where Raichu was like, well, we could talk about Smash stuff and what inspires us and our goals. And I was like, my goal is to play as much World of Warcraft as possible and
That's
never
your 5-year plan.
and
for
never
Smash?
touch a fighting game ever again, because touching
sorry,
fighting
Will.
games makes me sad because I can only play them on the internet, and I hate that. It's awful.
Did you see?
Oh, go ahead.
No, did you see the new Arc Systems Works game?
Yeah, like
Oh, yeah.
Dungeon Butt 5, the
Yeah,
Dungeoneer.
who the fuck knows? What the
Apparently,
IP
like
is.
7 quadrillion people in China play whatever that source
Yeah.
IP is, and it's like the craziest, most best-selling game of all time. Pharaoh was telling me about that. All I could think when he was saying, like, oh yeah, it's this game. They made 70 billion trillion, ducky dollars or whatever last year making this game. I was like, how do I not fucking know what this game is? How have I never heard of this? And then I looked at the website and I was like, oh, it's like a fucking awful graphic side scroller, like gotcha, whatever the fuck game. It looks awful. I hope I haven't played it. I hope the Arc System Works fighting game based on it is good.
I imagine it will be. It's the same people who brought us. It's Aiding. So they did that Naruto game I've always been talking about.
Aiding? I thought it was Arc System Works.
Yeah.
Or are they just like the publisher? And Aiding is like the... That's like Dimps and Capcom. Unclear. It's unclear. No one knows.
Yeah. It's lost. No, but it looks exactly like Grand Blue, but I have promises that is brought to me by the same people who made Ultimate Marvel. So,
okay.
Maybe it'll be good. Probably not. You're out again, Raichu.
Raichu.
I don't know why.
Raichu, you're not allowed to be muted. It's illegal. We need to hear your beautiful voice at all times.
So I definitely know what the game is. It's one of those like free to play type games. So I kind of looked into it just a little bit. It is from a company that also made Maple Story. It kind of looks like Maple Story.
Is Maple Story a game I should know about? I know nothing.
Yeah, it's part of the collective unconscious. You know it.
Yeah, it's also an MMO. Maple Story Vessel O really likes Maple Story. It's like a 2D MMO.
Interesting.
It's also free, so it's really popular for that reason.
The easiest way to make money in that game is to get your wood carving level up, and then you forest, right?
I have no idea.
You just hack trees down.
No idea.
Yeah, you hack trees down.
Okay,
and then you make money somehow.
Just like in real life.
Just like in real life.
Does the Lorax come at some point and tell you not to?
Yeah, he's an enemy. He shows up. Yeah, instant party wipe. What are we doing?
We're making Lorax references on a very professional episode of this podcast.
I speak for the trees, and I say enough is enough.
I say enough is enough. But yeah, I don't know, man. I like Sephiroth's pretty cool. I like playing him. I still think Ganondorf is cool, but like playing Smash Online is the worst thing ever. So like, why don't you tell us how you've kept your sanity still playing this game?
Yeah.
And also explain to us, Raichu, why you are definitely still a plant main. You never picked up Mega Man while you're at it.
Yeah.
I haven't really kept my sanity too much, to be honest.
That's my secret. I'm always insane.
I'm always insane. I mostly just play with friends, to be honest. It's more fun. I can practice a little bit better that way. Some of the people in our Discord are definitely sweaty Wi-Fi players. A lot of them will also leave after you beat them a couple times, so that's not really
the locals.
Damn.
The local players leave,
but they're gonna have to see you again, ostensibly.
Bro, am I gonna have to pull out my fat purple text-colored penis on the Discord and tell people to quit leaving, or I'll give them an infraction? I don't even know. Why? These are local players that know you, and you beat them a couple games, and they're just like, I gotta go, bro. My mom's making SpaghettiOs.
It has happened. A2 also sends me messages sometimes, just showing me. He's like, "What is he even talking about?" I'm like, "Bro, they just be doing that sometimes. They just."
Are these like children? Are we talking about children in the Discord?
Yeah, I mean, like younger teens. Pre-18 teens.
Oh, so, gross! Yeah. Imagine associating with the likes of that.
I can't. It's
How
hard.
dare you?
That's the biggest hurdle playing Smash.
They're the ones looking for the games the most. I mean, to be fair, early on I was playing mostly like Plant and Banjo, so nobody wants to play that anyways. Just toxic characters.
I mind playing Plant a lot less than I mind playing Banjo, I feel like, but they're both pretty fucking weird.
It's the obnoxious fucking noises that Banjo makes, and the fact that he's just constantly invincible. Yep.
It's where you gotta like taunt too to piss him off even more. The like over and over. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Besides that, I like Plant, and I listened to what you were saying about Ganondorf, where like you just enjoy Ganondorf, you just want to play Ganondorf. He's bad, you don't really care. I mean, I enjoy Plant for all those reasons, but I care because I do want to like progress.
Yeah, that's fair.
I want to actually be good.
Yeah, like I could be good as Plant. Like that's kind of the thing. Like that that is what I tell every person in the Discord that's like, I'm having character crisis issues and blah, blah, blah. And it is one of those, you just have to do it. You know, like when you told me, I was just like, this guy doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. You know, like, I'm not going to play a low tier. I'm not going to play a mid tier.
Oh, you mean like back in the day when you first made your Plamp entry into the fray? Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's just like you listen to it and realistically, I'm like, it makes sense. But logically in my head, I'm like, why would I stop myself from wanting to win with a good character, though?
I mean, if you like the good character, play the good character. I actually have been working on a Lucina, actually. I have a pretty good Lucina. Fine. Yeah.
What happened to Marth? What happened to Marth?
Okay, that is the opposite of what you're saying, basically. Because I think it's right. I think it can be right both ways, right? There are times when the right answer really is like,
pick a top tier, shrugs.
Well, yeah, but it also can be the opposite. You know, it could be either way. And I think it depends. Well, first of all, it's a personal decision, but then it also depends on why you feel that way. So like with Marth, I really like Marth like way more than Lucina on paper. Like he's just so much more interesting. Lucina's so much more boring. But what it takes for Marth to super duper duper succeed is not something that not something that plays well to my natural skill set. Like I am not a like technical tech skill player. That doesn't mean I can't do anything technical. I'm not like a fucking idiot, but like I don't play characters that are like, I would never in a million years play like Bayonetta. I would just never do that because I'm not Alex and I don't just want to lab everything to death and do nothing other than labbing. So
I don't even really want to succeed.
As much as I love Marth, from what I have seen of people who really do well with him, it is a lot of like, oh, you really need to lab this particular like setup to get like this tipper. That's not me. I like tipper aerialing people. I like spacing people. And at the end of the day, Lucina's just going to be able to do that better. So what made me start playing her actually is I got to dunk on Hylian a little bit because he's defenseless and he's in Texas with his family right now. Was like earlier, like when COVID was still like, it was like a thing, but it wasn't as much of a thing. And I was quarantining a little less hard. I was still like every now and then I was going over to Hylian's. He was in like my modified bubble more so at that point. And I was playing him. We just play all the time. And he not we wouldn't play all the time, but we'd play like a lot of matches in succession. And he would play Joker. And I fucking hate Joker so much, but I don't hate fighting Joker as much as other characters. Like I'd way rather fight Joker than like Inkling as Ganon, even though it's like really hard for Ganon.
I agree with that.
So I was playing him and like we usually go back and forth where like it'll be really close. Like we'll both win like 2 games and then he'll just like destroy me one game and win the 3 out of 5. And we had like multiple sets where it was like that for like hours where I was just like, oh my God, like it'd be fine. And then he'd get me with some like stupid gimp and he'd win the fucking set, even though it felt like it was close. And I was like, I'm just going to fuck around. And I played like a couple games with Lucina who I was like, fuck it. I'm just going to do the top tier thing. And, I just started beating him a bunch of sets in a row. And I was just like, why is this so easy? This is so much easier. So like I have done the opposite of the advice I gave to you once upon a time as well. Like personally, I think they're both, back to the original point, I think they're both applicable mindsets. It just kind of depends on A, what your goal is, and B, like how you feel they fit you. So your goal now, your point being, is that you want to, you've been a Mega Man main for a while? Is that accurate?
Ish. Like I definitely put a lot of time into Mega Man, or like for a few months. You know, I was labbing Metal Blade combos, you know, bear drag down stuff, down throw bear. Like that's the consistent stuff. But then I kind of like lost all my energy and passion for the game because I was like, I really don't like playing Wi-Fi Mega Man.
Dude, it's awful.
Fun.
What?
You cannot get down on yourself about that. I don't know how anyone plays it online. It's so bad.
But then Sephiroth came out, and I'm a pretty big FF7 fan, and I really wasn't like expecting it. And I probably, out of like all the DLC, I really hadn't popped off that hard. You know, I like Banjo, but I'm not like a huge play. I was actually pissed off when he got announced.
I see. You're talking about just fanboy factor.
The initial announcement.
Okay. Yeah, like the last time I popped off was like maybe Mega Man, or no, Cloud back in Smash 4. Like I that's what got me back into Smash was Cloud getting announced. And then Sephiroth getting announced. I'm like, I wanna play Sephiroth. I want to see if I vibe with him, so I'm checking him out right now, and he definitely has some cheese and some lame play style, so he might fit me a little bit.
He is a lot lamer than I expected him to be. Which I like. I love me a good lame character.
I enjoy that.
I love me a good lame character. So yeah, he's actually really like hard to approach.
Yes,
his fair is like really safe,
long.
and yeah, like his side B, like he can kind of fish with that. It's relatively safe if he max ranges it. So yeah, he's pretty cool. So wait, are you trying to like play Sephiroth? Is that what you're getting at? Or is this? I feel like this is just you playing a new character right now. You haven't convinced me.
Yeah.
I feel like you play like every new character, pretty much.
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
I've played every DLC character to the point where if somebody was like, "Hey, just play this character," I could still do at least some of their things, their technical stuff. So I just like
a chameleon. You just play everybody.
Yeah. Well, whenever you guys were talking about the one of you learns by just like visually watching stuff, you can just like pick it up instantly. That's kind of me too. When I see something, I could just be like, how do they do that? And then I'll just do it. And I'm like, oh, I can just do it now. Whereas like sometimes I have to like really.
What's it like?
So it's interesting. It's all I can think about when you say that is like most people tend to think I am smart and good at things, and it's only and this is where I relate to Hylian a lot. We're both very similar in this regard, where like, and this just happened because Hylian's been playing WoW and he had never played it before, and he's like so awful at certain things, like picking them up. He's just like, I think people are just used to me being good. And I'm like, yeah, I can 100% relate to that, because the only reason I'm good at anything is because I'm so awful at everything. I'm so bad, but I have to know how to like tell my dumb brain how to be good at it, and then that makes me really good at telling other people, and then it works. So what it's like is, you ever have somebody say something to you, and you kind of go, oh yeah, and then you pause, and they've already moved on, and you kind of didn't really comprehend, and you're like, I don't really know what they're talking about. And then you just kind of
idea what you're talking about.
I always comprehend all things. That's where like people will sometimes tell me shit in like a fighting game, and I feel like it's usually because they're really bad at explaining it, though, is what I feel like. Like I feel like they'll tell me a thing, and I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about, and then it'll take me a really long time to figure it out, and they'll like give me shit about being slow about it, and then once I figure it out, I realize like, oh, you're just an idiot. Like you're smarter than me because you could already do this. I get it, sure, but the way you were saying how to do what you were saying was awful, and that is why no one understood what you were saying. But yeah, no, I think you guys both pick up characters pretty quickly. I haven't played a game like the way you play Smash in a while, Raichu, like where you play like a lot of characters and you always play it like that. For me, that last game was Street Fighter 4.
Street Fighter 4 for you, yeah.
Yeah, where I played like everybody almost in that game. Like I don't know. Smash is, especially Smash Ultimate, I think there's just like so many different archetypes. Like there's characters I can play, like all the old Brawl characters I could like kind of fumble my way through because they have enough. But like it's interesting to me that you can just like pick up like Sephiroth versus Banjo to me is like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Nobody plays Sephiroth and Banjo. Like those characters are so, but like you can just play them all. Like I guess there's like, what do you think the common threads are? Like, what do you look for? Because I always look for like this character has a thing, and then I look for like something similar in the other character, and that's how I like ground myself. Like, do you do it that way, or do they just like does that not even a factor?
So like, well, first of all, I've been playing Smash since 64. So like I was 9 when I first picked up Smash, and I played every character then too. And I actually really like Ness in that game, and he's like the most awkward character to play in that game. He's vastly different than I feel like all the other characters.
He's pretty weird in every game, I feel like.
Yeah. And I played him in Melee too. I played pretty much everybody in Melee. Brawl was kind of the one I didn't dabble that much in, but I did play like Ness, Lucas, like Ike a lot. I just liked Ike's jab. So
Dude,
I played Ike.
Ike in Brawl was cool. Yeah, he was cool.
His jab was just like,
Yeah.
oh, I punched you twice. Oh, but then I slammed my giant sword on you. And I'm like, oh, that's sick. I just jabbed into that.
I kind of miss, like, I like Ike in Ultimate, but I kind of miss that, like, shitty, slow version of him from Brawl. Like, he just had so much oomph to everything. Yeah.
No, I love Smash so much. So, you know, I'll see somebody do something. So I watch a lot of Smash, like, especially when offline was a thing. I watched every tournament. I'll see somebody do something and I'm like, holy shit, that was cool. I want to do that. Hey, do you want to play? And then I'll just do that. And then I'll kind of figure out other things. I'm like, oh, this character's actually kind of neat. And then I just play the entire cast.
You just copy when you see other people do stuff pretty well, you're saying, basically.
That's how I.
So do you guys have trouble innovating, do you feel like? Or is that not really an issue either?
In Marvel, the game is so flexible that even if I'm doing my best Abigail impression for a while, I can sit and come up with my own shit with not much thought or effort just because the game is so weird and flexible. It's different in Smash because I don't understand how Smash works, but I imagine it's not so different for Raichu because he understands intrinsically how Smash works.
Yeah. I do like to say that I pretty much understand, at least now, like playing Plant helped me. What I've been telling people, helped me learn to learn.
Mm-hmm.
So like,
that's why you got to play those comfort characters early on.
Yeah.
When you're not like good yet, you need a character that you like feel comfy with. Yeah.
You latch to whether they're good or bad.
It was almost like a third eye opening, you know, like I just got to a point where I was just like
a Venus plant trap opening.
No, it's up here.
It was really weird because there was just like a point where I'm like, oh, this is what conditioning is. Yeah. Oh, you know, this is why I'm doing that. Oh, I understand why they do that and why I'm doing that now, you know. And I had some people teach me some stuff like Lucky, who's like probably in my opinion the best plant in the world. He's like Minnesota, Dids to Central Florida. They helped me a lot with just understanding and telling me like, don't do this for this reason. And so I thought a lot more about it, and that's kind of what like made me better, I think, and why I was able to, you know, play our top 10 and not feel completely helpless and lost when playing them. But that's also what kind of allows me to play any character. You know, I see what tools they have available, and then I can kind of free flow what I want to do with them. I've kind of always been that way, like in any multiplayer game. So yeah.
Do you remember the Chinese room? We talked about that before, Will.
The Chinese room?
Yeah, it's a thought experiment. So you got a person inside of a room who has no access to anybody outside of the room, like can't talk to anybody outside of the room, but they've got like a wealth of knowledge of a library full of books. All the books are written in Chinese. So once a day, someone comes up and then presents them a little question through the door. They can't talk back and forth. They see the question, they don't understand it because it's written in Chinese, but they can go to the library, find where that particular phrase is in a book, and then just write the next line and send it back to them. So the person outside, it kind of looks like they're talking, like they're having a conversation. They could have slid in, "How are you doing today?" They don't know what that means. So they go and they find a book where it says, "How are you doing today?" And the response comes, "I'm doing great. How are you?" It's a reflexive action rather than an understanding.
Yes.
And I think that's how Raichu and I are doing this whole thing. We've seen how it works. Maybe we don't understand why it works or what it is, but through doing it, ideally, we pick up, like, I think that's pretty much how language is learned when you're an infant. But at either rate, I think that's how we have to do it enough times reflexively until we can internalize it. And I think you work from the opposite way in. You have to know why something works in order to do it. I think that's why you struggle with concepts up front. But once you get it.
Yeah, I mean, I do learn better by doing things than by reading them, though, is the thing. So, like, yeah, if you tell me something, like, I will just be like, but okay,
you have to be shown.
But why? Like, I don't. Yeah, it does, and then it's harder. It's harder to remember anything if I don't get that. It's a big the big analog I always use is like when I was a kid and people were teaching me math, and everybody bitches about new math now. But to me, like, new math makes so much more sense than the math I was taught. And I know if I had been taught new math, I would be way less shitty at math. I just that's just period a thing, because the way I was taught math was, here's the way you do long division or multiplication. Like
here's your bar.
You bring this number down, you put this little line here, and I would always go to my teachers and be like, I don't understand why. And they just be like, fuck you, you fucking Anyway, so public schools are great. And so they would just tell me to like go fuck myself in the ass or whatever, right? And like I just be like, okay. And so then I would memorize what they said to do. And then we would like go to summer break and I would come back to school and I would just be like, I fucking forgot every single thing that I was taught last summer. And then I would have to like relearn. And eventually I got to the point in math where like I had just forgotten so many concepts because they weren't sticking, because they had no context for me. But then like I remember the first time I saw new math and someone was just like bitching about how it had like 3 extra steps. But I was like, oh my God. Oh my God, that's why you pull the number down, because the thing. So, yeah, I think, I don't know, playing a fighting game, you have to know, like what Raichu was saying about how to learn, I think is a really important
If you don't
skill
have
set.
tools how to learn, then you won't succeed.
So, yeah, I think I'm very good at teaching myself, I think is the only thing that makes me good or smart. And if anything, I'm more at a disadvantage than most people are innately. But I think, yeah, if players don't know how to learn, it's you talk about plateauing a lot in fighting games, and like that is, I think, the number one plateau is like you do not know how to teach yourself, because the thing of it is there's a lot of stuff you might be trying to do and you can Google, like this is why it's like interesting to me, because like you can Google like how to play footsies. And you can read a guide that says generally what you're supposed to do. But if you don't personally like play that and make sense of it, it is, I think, hard even for people who pick things up well by reading them. Like I have a hard time believing there are many people out there who like read a guide on how to like play neutral in Smash Brothers and then just do it. Like you have to have some foundation, you know?
I think the difference is that we build that foundation by doing it. I don't think that I could sit and learn to play footsies by listening to someone tell me how footsies are played. I think I could learn to play footsies by watching someone do like stand fierce and crouch medium kick from different ranges. And then doing that.
Emulating what they do.
Kick. Yep.
Even though you didn't know why you were doing it that range.
But it should make sense as I'm doing it, ideally. Yeah. But if I do it like they're doing it.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's kind of my thing, because one of the biggest things is I just get a Google Doc and then I'll watch VODs. Not even mine most of the time. I don't really learn too much from my VODs besides, I keep getting punished for doing the same stuff over. Okay, I should probably just not do that.
That's why I think I learn a lot from my VODs, because I'm like, you fucking idiot. Why'd you do that again?
Yeah, it's for me, it's mostly just like pushing that part out of my brain, the comfort stuff that people kind of do in fighting games at times, you know, this is usually safe, so I'll do the usually safe option. For me, definitely plant down B, like early on. Oh my God, I did that like probably every time in neutral, and if you didn't respect it, I just won. Like you just lost. But I watched a lot of VODs and I would take notes of the good players being like, they're doing this in neutral. That's interesting. And I would just notice throughout all the VODs, multiple different players, like they're doing this, but some players are more aggressive. Some players are more passive. I like to take all of that and then mix it into my head of what is the best options. You know, like this usually works, but for these reasons, you know, like Lucky's a very aggressive plant. He does not really play passive at all. He barely uses Patui unless he knows it's going to combo. But like Diz, for instance, plays very passive. Brood, also the Japanese plant that kind of made plant popular. Very, very passive players. So it's just like you take all those things and you understand that like Nair is a really good tool for this and this reason, but the lame passive player, they may never use Nair. Even though it's a great tool, they may not use it.
That's kind of an interesting extra layer to add on top of it, where I would just go and find the best Viper player and just do exactly what they did until I understood what neutral was like as Viper. You're like taking different plants and then like assigning them traits or factoring in the qualities of the player, and then using that as a filter for how they use.
He's an amalgam. He's a flesh beast.
Yeah. He's a flesh beast.
My thought process behind that, just in general, is like players are going to have different scenes. Some don't even travel that much. So they fight different players. Like Lucky has Yeti in his scene, and like 50 billion Mega Mans. Minnesota's just a scene of Mega Mans. His Lucky's brother is Loaf, who's an amazing Wario player, also aggressive. So he's got kind of like a mixed breed. Brood plays in Japan. A whole bunch of weird characters are in Japan, so you never know. So to me, I'm just like, even though Brood is the best, quote unquote, what he's doing may not necessarily fit all situations. There's a reason why he kind of like plateaued, right? Whereas Lucky, I think, could do better.
Has more potential.
So I just checked to see what they were doing against other characters. Maybe Brood has a problem with, say, Sonic, for instance, but Lucky maybe doesn't have any issues with Sonic. Just compare the two and see what the difference is. Like, why is one doing better than the other? They may be doing the same thing and the Sonic player is just better. Who knows? But you just take the instances of them doing better and being like, they did better in this situation because of this reason. And I just jot that down and then try to remember it later.
When you say jot that down, do you mean like literally make a note or like a mental note?
Oh, I have like huge pages worth of Google Doc of like just plant information. And I break it down into like matchups to like, oh, this matchup for this reason, blah, blah, blah.
What are the odds that all these huge documents are really just like the word plamp over and over and over and over and over again?
Plamp to plamp.
And it's like a little
plamp fair, plamp.
It's a little like doodle of the spiky ball, and like that's like pages of the same thing.
Yeah, it's like, hold on a second, I need to check my notes.
Yeah.
Plamp.
Yes. Just plamp. Yep. All right.
Well, that was the thing too. I did. So iDonuts does. He does a lot anyways. I think he does like a lot of frame data and stuff.
Yeah, I had a lot of his graphics and stuff early on until Zeke started doing more of them.
So Plant players are super privileged, right? He has like in Excel spreadsheets of like up throw kill percents at 0 to 150% rage, like listing, and then up smash kill percents and a bunch of other random tech that you'll definitely never use as Plant. I use those every single set. Like in between sets, I would just look and see what the kill percents are between like 50% to 100% for up throw and be like, okay, they're probably going to die at this rate. So now for the most part, depending on the character, I pretty much know when up throw is going to kill you, depending on my rage. And up smash is stupid strong. So I'm just like, okay, they'll probably die now. So like that helped a lot too. I like having specifics and numbers. Like numbers helps a lot.
That's interesting because I don't feel like Plant is a particularly labby character. Like, so it's weird to me that he has like such a prominent like lab following. Cause like
maybe it's because it's easier.
I don't know. Like pulling this out of my ass in the moment, I feel like I would put Plant like towards the lower end of like what kind of characters you need to lab. Because it's like if you play if you play like Fox, you need to lab, or Luigi, you need to fucking like lab.
Bayonetta.
But Bayonetta. But like Plant is like King Deity levels of like you don't need to really lab anything. I mean, labbing is always helpful, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying like no one should or whatever, but like in the spectrum of like characters that you really like, there are characters who just don't work unless you do some lab work, like Greninja or something. You know what I mean? Whereas like, you can play King K. Rool. All the characters I play, you don't need to lab very much.
See, that's the difference though. If you got one of Raichu's Excel spreadsheets, I think you'd be in business.
Well, that's the thing. So like with Plant, I never really labbed as much. I mostly did try like situational things to see. I labbed like he has jab lock F smash, which so many people are like, oh my god! But it's a tight window. It's a tight window though, so it's like you could just down smash. Usually people just down smash because it's like 4 or 5 frames faster, so it's not tight at all to do. But I mostly labbed stages and the Patui distance to just slightly roll off the side. Because if you overshoot it, you're not hitting the edge. So that's why sometimes you watch my games, I'll literally run to a very specific spot and then Patui, because it's going to cover pretty much everything. Like it's literally going to cover pretty much all options. But besides that,
this is going to like give A2 credence for like Gordo labbing or something. Like, shut up! You don't practice that. You just
follow
chuck
your
that
heart,
shit.
A2.
Get out of here. That is pretty sick though. Like that's such a like innocuous thing. Like So like if that were me, I would like look at it and be like, oh, there's a spacing where I can about get it to roll off like that. But I don't think I would ever sit down and be like, on battlefield, I need to be out this
17
at this
pixels
pixel
to the right
in order for it to roll off. So that is very interesting. We haven't played in a while, but I definitely don't remember you being like as focused on some of those specifics as much the last time we like really played. So it seems like you've been kind of putting more work in that regard.
There's always something that when I'm playing, so there's a lot of stuff that I've talked to like you with and Quilly with. You guys are probably the two people that I took a lot of like inspiration from, or at least listened. When I play Plant, I really do kind of have two options. I can either edge guard you or ledge trap, which ledge trap is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And Quilly told me too, he's like, you do so well with Plant because Patui covers like more options, and you're better. You're covering more options just in general. And that made a lot of sense. But every time I ledge trap, I always think like, man, the Metal would be really pissed off right now because I could just edge guard them, and I'm sitting there ledge trapping instead. And
are we the Smash demons and Angel on your shoulder of the Brawl ledge guardy demon, the Smash 4 ledge trap Angel?
Well, because I always go back to that one set we had at SLU where, no offense, I just destroyed you. It was like a 2-minute set. And
well, that was very memorable because that had not happened all that really
like
ever. Yeah. No offense taken. I walked away and I was just like, God damn, I think I ordered like a chicken panini. I was like, what the fuck just happened? I think I was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do to that. Like I had never like encountered you playing that way before. I was just like, fuck, like I gotta go reconsider my entire life. I'll be right back.
Well, that was funny too, because I was just thinking the whole time, I'm like, he always has edge guard. I'm just gonna nair him. He's off stage. I'll just nair. And it just took your stock every time. And I was like, okay. We played friendlies like I think there was a Metal Fest that week, and we played friendlies, and you were like destroying me. And
it wasn't that long before that. I know that's also why it was so shocking. Like
it's like, what is happening right now?
I didn't put much thought into that set, honestly. And like even after the first game where you also destroyed me, I was like, whatever, that's a fluke. And then it was like 2/3 of the way through the last one. I was like, oh my God, I have one stock. I haven't done anything. I'm about to lose. This is awful. What's happening? Go ahead.
It's just one of those things that I take that a lot. The edge guarding, the staying on ledge. We talked about that really early on, even before Plant. You're like, you could just sit there, right? Like you don't have to get up. You could just sit on ledge. And that literally gets me out of like pretty much everything. People are just like, what the fuck is he doing?
Why is he just staying there?
And they're just like, I guess I'll sliding down tilt or something.
And then you just reaction, get up attack or roll. Yeah.
Like I'll just roll, and then I was like, okay, well now you're in disadvantage. So okay, whatever. And like that's always stuck in my head. Quilly's probably like the best person at doing absolutely nothing. Like he'll just menacingly sit there, and you're just like, what do I do? And the second you approach, he knows what you're gonna do. And it's just like, I hate this guy. And that's like, I want to be like Quilly, but a better Quilly. Because Crime Poop said after one set, I didn't really beat him very often. He just unplugged his controller, and he was just like, Raichu, you were literally the lamest player I've ever played with him.
Did you high five him?
I was just like,
hell yeah.
I was like, Crime Poop? I'm not going to lie to you. That was the best compliment I've ever received. And that was just so funny to me because I was just like, now I just want to be more lame. So any character that can just amplify that, like I don't even care about
lame is fun as fuck, dude.
Is so
people do not understand how fun that shit is.
It is, and the whole like learning flashy tech and stuff. My thought process on pretty much anything I've done, even jobs, whatever the optimal best way to do something that may be really hard to achieve, I'll do that, but I'll like dumb it down. Like, oh, you have to do these flashy inputs. What if I do half of that and still get the result? But it's just not, maybe it's like 5 or 10%, less percent in a combo, but they're still in disadvantage now. So I can still,
Yeah.
carry that on. I don't have to do all those fancy stuff. Like J-Tails did a guide saying that once. He was like, so many people ask about, oh, do I have to do these drop down short hop, wave bounce, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, no, you just literally, you don't have to do that. You could just play the character, and movement is more important than, fancy tech. And I kind of took that to heart. So that's how I play. I don't do anything fancy. I just kind of see what you're going to do, place whatever I want in that general direction, and then make you decide how you're going to react to it. Like that's my play style.
Well, it's like a weighted estimate of what's going to happen, where like, if you can hit the fanciest fancy shit every time, then like by all means, but depending on the situation, and it also is a matter of like how much mental power, mental juice,
stamina.
Yeah, you put into things, because like managing your mental stack is a big thing in fighting games. And if you spend all of your time practicing this fancy combo, but you don't even know how to play neutral, like, well, okay, you're not ever gonna get to do that anyway. Sorry, buddy. So yeah, you have to kind of like balance that out. But yeah, it's interesting. Like when you talk about Quilly, because I haven't played Quilly too much. I played one set against him, which we had talked about on Twitter recently, and I like absolutely shit on him the first game, and then he switched to Junior, and he pretty much did exactly what you're saying, where like he wasn't really doing a lot. But I didn't know enough about Junior, and I didn't know enough about like what he was doing with Junior. And I was just kind of like, fuck, like, I feel like I should be able to do something, but I'm not really sure what that something is, because he's so hyper mobile, but also not really moving anywhere at the same time. He's just kind of like zooming, smash circle camping. Yeah. But no, I think not enough people like in any game, much less Smash, like they are way too focused on, combos. Not enough people focus on like fundamental shit.
That's because you can always practice a combo. If you go into training mode right now, you could sit and practice until you're doing TAC infinites. You can't learn neutral by yourself.
That's true.
No matter what you do.
I do think so. A lot. I've talked to pretty much everybody on our scene, and I've talked to a lot of the lower end players too, and the mid level players, and it's because I want them to understand things and get better. I can take what everybody's telling me as far as teaching me, and I can kind of like put it into a way, like you were saying before, like if somebody explains something to you, it may not make sense to you, because the way that they're explaining it may be the like, formula way to explain it, when it's just
the
like
long division.
Yeah, it's like, okay, for me, I just dumb it down and be like, really, this is it. Here, this is what you need to do. And a lot of the time, I've noticed they want to be flashy. They do like to be able to lab it because it feels like they're doing something, which in reality, they should just be playing the game.
Play the game. Just play the game.
Yeah, and so I've noticed that a lot. They're just like, oh man, did you see this really cool setup I did? And then I jab blocked and blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, but did you win?
Yeah.
Did you actually win? And they're like, well, no, it's like, they two-stocked me, but it was a really close two-stock.
It was a close two-stock.
It was a two-stock, but it was close, though. It was close, though. You see that meme where it's the TO, and he's got his clipboard, and there's a box that says, like, but it was close, though, and he, like, checks the box on his score sheet.
Yeah, I actually saw that. That corner meme where somebody's like standing in the corner and the party's going on.
Yeah. And
there was one that was just like, they're all gonna know I win 0-2.
Yeah.
Nobody cares really. It's just one of those things. Like, I know we have a few people in our scene that are always like, oh, should I main this character or this character? And I constantly just tell them basically, literally all the advice that Metal has given me and Quilly has given me. Just like literally just play whoever you're comfortable with, whatever character that you have fun with, because it does not matter at our level at all. Like, you'll learn by playing that character.
Yeah.
And
you're not good enough for that top tier to matter.
And it's hard to understand that. It's really hard because the community constantly shoves in your face, this character sucks, this character sucks.
Oh yeah.
Pick up top tier, that character's not top 10. They're not going to win a major. We're not going to win a major anyways.
Yeah.
And I do just literally tell them exactly what you said, And I don't think they fully grasp it, because then like a month later, they're like, I don't know if they're working out. I'm like, I forced myself to play Plant and not switch off for Snake for 4 months. And I went from 35th to 9th on PR. I promise it works. You know those things where it's like a testimonial where they're just like, yeah, and it worked for me. That's me.
It could work for you too.
The newspaper. Well, that's I think that's like part of like that's like the human condition. Like people are more interested in just changing anything at all other than themselves or recognizing that they're having an issue. And I run into that a lot. Yeah, it's I run into that a lot with like WoW, even like when we're playing stuff and like all my friends are just like, oh, I'm gonna play a new character. And it's the same shit as in like Smash or fighting games where things aren't working out and you change characters. And that's not to say you should never change the character, but like maybe after like the 5th time you change characters, like you should consider that like maybe you should just stick with one because you're just roaming around and like, but it's hard to have that like, I don't know, that tough look inward. And just be like, I am ass. I am ass tier and I need to learn how to be better at blah. And it's hard to know what you're even fucking up though if your character's constantly different because all the moves are different, your strategy is different, like that baseline. Yeah, the baseline of having like one character and you're like, this is the only character I'm going to play. I mean, that's why I like playing one character like a lot of time. And that's not to say there aren't games where I play multiples, but it makes it easier to know what you're doing wrong if it's always because like people will be like, oh,
everything's framed as that.
Yeah, like I can't believe you just recovered with Ganon. And it's like, yeah, well, I know what I need to do. And his recovery is ass, but I know what I need to do. And when I get gimped, I know sometimes it's because I could have recovered differently or better. And other times it's because I'm Ganondorf and I got gimped and there really aren't a lot of options in this scenario. And then the answer is to try to not be in that scenario. But if I'm just constantly switching up and going to like Inkling where I don't even have to think about my fucking recovery, then it's really hard to improve the skill set of recovering because I'm not working on it.
You never had to learn.
Yeah. Or you don't need to know it with that character exactly. But every character has like those disadvantages. Even really well-rounded characters like Lucina, there are things about them they have issues with. Like she, like they don't do high throw damage. They have like a good throw game, but they don't get like super great throw combos. There's like different. Every character has like something you need to work around, and it's. I'll just circle back to that mental stack thing where like. If you're constantly putting just new variables on, trying new combos, trying new characters and new combos, it's like you can't possibly manage that. Nobody can manage that until you've gotten to a certain point. And like then like okay, if you're getting top 8s and you think you've plateaued with that character,
you won top 1s, yeah.
Maybe that's a thing at that point. But like up into that point, you probably like that's probably not your issue. For sure.
Yeah. I was gonna say, just to add on to like the learning thing, I do think there's like 2 things that a lot of people don't really talk about too much. I know somebody did, I can't remember who did, but they were just talking about mentality. And mentality is such a huge thing that I don't think enough people really put like enough effort into because they just think like, oh, I'm sucking. It must be because of some other outside source that's not me just sucking as the character.
Yeah.
You know, for me personally, anytime I played, I mean, I just did a tweet not too long ago. I was like, how many characters do you play in bracket? I fucking played 23. Like, and that was before Plant. That's a lot. You know, like that's a lot of characters.
It's too many.
It's too many.
That's too many.
Unreal. It's unreal.
That's too
you
many.
know, and when I played Plant, and I think this is what it goes for a lot of people that are, you know, learning, their mind is almost like screaming at them to go to their comfort pick. Like right away, like what character is going to get you farther in bracket. Not even like friendlies is different. Friendlies doesn't. That's the thing right there. People need to treat bracket like friendlies almost because the newer players or the players that aren't as good, you have to have the mentality of like, I'm going to bracket more so to learn because people are going to play their hardest typically in bracket, whereas friendlies, people fuck around, people play their secondaries, you know, people, you know, whatever. Usually people's mindsets are really clear there. It's not a big deal. But in bracket, you feel like, man, if I lose, people are going to care. You know, I'm going to be disappointed in myself. I have to go to my main. I have to go to my main. Even if your main you suck at. You're not good with your main either. You know, just play the character that you're learning and you want to stick with. Because as Plant, so many times early on, I was like hovering over Snake. constantly.
Yeah.
Well, it's not going to do. It's at the end of the day, it's not getting me anywhere. It's not going to benefit me. And I really do think you have to be a little mentally strong to just hard focus on sticking to the one character, not switching, taking that L, and then just moving on. Because you'll notice, like you said, like that's the other point I was going to make. You get so adapted to your character. I remember I told you early on, I don't like Plant. His recovery sucks. I remember telling you that all the time. And then eventually I started realizing what I could do with it. I'm like, oh, this character's recovery is fucking broken.
Yeah. When you do the little twirl under and up the bottom side of the stage and nobody can fucking do anything. Yeah.
I just remember, I could get 2 frames so easily. And it's just like, I looked at, some VODs. I'm like, man, they keep doing this. I was like, let me try that. Never get 2 framed pretty much ever. Yep. Then they actually have to 2 frame you. And you won't know that though until you're playing the character more. The things that you may get annoyed with or hate, the more you play, you'll be like, I can work around that, or it's really not as bad as I thought. That's kind of the thing. That's why with Snake, I probably could pick up Snake now. Like I understand why my disadvantage with him, was so crappy. Every Snake player I've noticed have gone through the same thing. They instantly subconsciously pull nade.
Yep.
They just do it. It's just a natural habit. Why not? It's frame 1. Who cares? But if people are smart, they're like, all right, or I can just kill you while you're landing or grab you and then throw you and not get hit by nade. So yeah, it really is just people don't just randomly pick up a character and figure them out 100%. They play them enough where it makes other people go, wow, I want to do that. And you're just like, no, you don't, but okay.
You don't want any part of this. You're like an old grizzled, like heroin addicted veteran on the side of the street. Like, get out of here, kid. You don't want to.
You think Up B? You think Up B's gonna be kind to you in 20 years?
Dude, there was I've only had this happen maybe twice, but somebody at a local bracket once were like, "Oh wow, you're the Plant player, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "I really want to learn Plant too." I'm like, you really don't want to learn Plant.
Don't do it.
So well. So I was like, I do well because it took me 4 months of just pain to get to where I'm at. Because I was really not having fun.
I had to swallow a spike ball every day and keep it down in my stomach until the end of the day, and then blow it out again in real life just to swallow it the next day for 4 months.
It's definitely that thing I look at, like, how you play too, right? Like you just look at it and you're like, wow, he's doing so good. I think about it, I'm like, yeah, but it's because he's literally outplaying his opponent. His character is hot garbage.
Yes.
He's just outplaying his opponent. Ganon sucks. He's not even close from being good. He's like bottom 5.
That is one of the most frustrating things when people try to like it's almost not even frustrating because it's so ridiculous as Ganon. When people try to be like, oh yeah, but this blah 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 is like busted or whatever. I'm like people are so unwilling to admit that they've been outplayed.
Yeah.
It's always 100%. Like, I cannot tell you how many times I've like destroyed someone and then they look at me and they're like, oh my God, I thought this matchup was so bad for Ganon. Apparently Ganon wins it. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I just beat your ass. That's all that happened. Exactly. But like, I think that doesn't bother me though. Like, I don't mind being outplayed like at all.
I like being outplayed.
It feels good, if anything. Like, I mean, it feels bad to lose, but it feels good to know that you didn't lose to a stupid matchup. Like, as much as, like, what's an example? Like, Dristan is a way better player than I am. And I think I would have trouble with Dristan anyway. But it feels ultra bad to lose to Dristan because even though he is an extremely good player and he's super skilled, I honestly think Greninja versus Ganon is one of the most, like, he literally does not have to think. Like, there was that thread that someone was like, who do you like, it's like the picture, like the Wesley Snipes with the gun and he's crying, like, who is this for you in bracket? And he was like, MetalMusicMan. And I was just like, it's very true. I literally cannot, like, Dristan could fucking, like, he could fucking blindfold himself and like fucking like butt chug fucking tequila and he would just dash attack and I would die. Like, it wouldn't matter. And so, like, there's matchups like that those feel awful. But then, like, if you feel like like an example of like the other side of that is like I was beating Colorado quite a bit when he first came around, even when he was doing good. And everybody was like, Metal's got like a undefeated record versus Colorado. What's that about? And it's like, well, I'm not playing because I'm Ganon. And that matchup was horrible, but then like he changed up a lot of shit about the way he played. And I was like smiling while we were playing, even though I lost, because I was like, you did the things now. Like, but that's at the end of the day, like that win or lose, like that's kind of what I'm in for with fighting games is like the conversation.
That's the whole goal.
The conversation that you have, that is like the beauty where they're like, yeah, they went out and they read a book. They're telling you a story. That story is about how you can't edgeguard Inkling because they're bullshit. But they read the story and now they can tell you that story.
Now they can share it with you. Yeah.
They can share it with you.
I think that's kind of the thing too. It is almost a little addicting playing a not so well-known character because you get recognized. And I did kind of start to understand why some people, they just don't switch. For instance, A2. I think A2 is an amazing player. He just plays a really crappy character.
I really hate giving him any credit, but I'm going to agree with you. Yeah. He is actually very good. He's very bad at explaining why he's good or knowing what he's doing though. He's like a savant. Like he doesn't even like some of the shit he whispers me. He's like, I don't even know about this thing. And I'm just like, why are you so dumb but so smart at the same time? I don't understand like the combination that he has. But yeah, anyway, it's addicting to be known. Like that is a low tier thing, right? Like to be known for because you get more recognition being good with like I get more recognition being good with Ganon than by like a huge amount than I would if I was equally as good or even quite a bit better with Falco or some character that was more known.
Yeah, exactly.
That's definitely a reason people stick with it. And I think like everything else, there's good and bad reasons to do that too. Like if you're only playing it for the recognition, that's probably bad. But if it's like a nice side effect,
That's the thing. Like for me, when I started getting better, there would be like, I would talk to people, during the streams. They're like, oh, you're the STL Plant player. Yeah, I know who you are. And so like that would happen, or I would go to a bracket out of state or something. And they're like, oh yeah, you're right. You the Plant, right? You've been doing pretty good. And I know that if I'm like, oh, you're Raichu, the Mega Man, or you're Raichu, the Sephiroth, like no one's gonna say that, right? They're just like, who are you? I'm like, I used to play Plant, and they're like, oh,
the Plant guy. Like immediately, that guy. Okay. You're like top 8ing in a national, and you're just like, yeah, I played Plant 3 years ago. Like,
well, you know
he
what?
Used to play Plant.
It's like a Frostbite was a crazy top 8. Like Toast, a lot of people don't know who the heck that is. He's an amazing Youngling player. Wrath, nobody knew who that was. Definitely one of the best Sonics. Even in Smash 4, he was a really good Sonic. So it's just like, no matter what you play, it's more of like, it's like Zaki, right? Like he did some pretty good stuff in the States in Smash 4. He had that one set where he beat MKLeo. And so everybody recognized him for that. Not because he beat MKLeo even really. It was because he did it as DDD. So it's one of those things that like if I play Plant and I do pretty good as Plant, I'll get recognized for that. Even if I beat somebody as like Mega Man or Sephiroth, I probably wouldn't get, it would just be like, oh, some Sephiroth player, beat whatever, like that's it. If you say, oh, some Plant player, they're like, whoa, he beat who with Plant?
Yeah.
Like what? So that was kind of a thing for me too. I was thinking about, I'm like, man, I'm going to have to like really do well to get recognized. But then I thought it didn't really matter at the end of the day, because I want to play, and I also want my skill to matter more, because Plant has that obvious matchup and experience thing. So a lot of people I've beaten, it really does come down to like, okay, what does this character do? Oh, I can't literally do anything on his shield without him.
There's a knowledge check that carries with like obscure characters, absolutely, and that's okay. I mean, I think we've kind of focused a little bit more on the negative side of like the rush of like playing an unknown character and getting recognized for it, and it's like that positive rush that it gives you. But we're more talking about like how it's kind of a negative because like you're I guess like high on the recognition, which is a thing. But I think also on the flip side, I think I'm a big proponent of like the phrase that like anything that makes you play the game more is probably good. So like,
Oh, yeah.
so because
No question.
if that is what makes you play the game more, then you're going to get more practice in too. So it's, it's one of those things like I think you can come out on either side of it where it's like it can be bad, it can be good. I mean, I've known people who definitely are like more obsessed with like I'm the blah 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 character player, and it's like you're just doing that to the point where like you don't even really enjoy playing them anymore.
Yeah,
that's probably about the time. But if you enjoy switching characters too, I mean, do it to it. But like, I think, man, I don't know. It seems to me like the prevailing like atmosphere of like the new wave of fighting game kiddos, like basically all the all the Smash Ultimate babies, that are around that aren't 100 years old, like we are all are. It does seem like there's a lot more focus on like tier stuff than there was like back in the day. Like everyone's you've had people who are more about like, tier whoring or whatever you want to call it. Like, and there's always been like different thoughts, but it seems like there's a lot less acceptance for like a low tier character, and everybody's like really hyper obsessed with like balance. It's like I've talked to Notch quite a bit about how like all these Smash Ultimate players, like they'll ask me what I think of a matchup. Like, what do you think of Ganon versus, Snake? And I'll be like, it's 3-7 Snake. And then they'll say, no, nothing could ever be worse than a 4-6. That's not possible. And I'm just like, and if it was possible, then no one would ever play it. I'm just like, 4-6 is fine. Like I've actually had like,
I could do 4-6.
While we're talking about AK, actually, I've said to AK before, I've been like, this is a 4-6. And he's just like, no, it isn't. Like as if 4-6 was like the worst thing he'd ever heard in his life. And I'm just like, what is going on?
There are higher numbers.
What is going on with these kids? Yeah, like they can't count this high. Like, why the fuck do they think 4-6 is a dirty word, dude? It's like you thought I fucking like made a racial slur or something. The way they reacted, they're like, I can't believe you just said that was a 4-6. Unbelievable. Like, okay, I'm sorry. Like, I don't know. It's like they take an offense to if you think the matchup is that after you play them. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, well, why did you fucking ask me what I thought? I'm sorry I beat you. But yes, I still think the matchup is 3-7 in your favor. Like, I don't know what you want from me.
That's like really funny that you mentioned that too, because I feel like I can kind of resonate with like both sides of the spectrum of like, higher level players and lower level, because I'm just still really fresh of coming out of that lower level mindset. So when you would say like, oh man, that's a 7-3 matchup, of course, my mind instantly goes, oh, I'm probably going to lose this matchup then. There's just no chance. Like, there's just no way. And as Plant, Villager is by far, like, probably his worst matchup. Not in my opinion. Pretty much every other Plant will say, like, oh, that's a 7-3. I don't really think it's a 7-3, just in general. But he does have the tools to make it very painful. But I played a Villager, and I didn't think it was undoable. I was like, this is awful, and I have to play a different way, but it's not undoable. Same with like Pikachu. Like I think Pikachu can destroy Plant, but if you go into it with a bad mindset, of course a 7-3 is going to seem like the most undoable matchup in the game. But it's really not that bad. Like matchup, any character can fight any character. It's just they kind of make you have to play differently, and that's what people don't want.
That is what people don't like. They don't want to play it differently.
I just want to do afterburner kicks.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, oh, yeah, exactly. Like if you're sitting there, like for instance, Plant destroys Bayo.
Okay.
He
I believe you.
Destroys Bayo. And I fought a couple of Bayos with Plant, and both times they were very frustrated. But I'm like, you can't keep doing afterburner kick because I'm just going to
perfect example. If you just Patooey when he does burner kick, what do you do?
Yes, it's frame 9. I'm just going to Patooey you. Well, I'll take the trade. You're hitting me for probably 4%. I'll take it. Like that just happens.
I love the monster that you've become.
So you were talking about having, I think, Quillian Will on your shoulder. I have an angel and a demon as well. I've got Bayonetta on one shoulder who's like, do afterburner kick though. Regardless, I don't care. Just do it as fun.
A really good option.
And my other shoulder is my buddy Jeff, who's like, can you explain jab blocking again? That's
To
it.
be fair, when I played Smash, this is the funny thing. A lot of the stuff that came from Smash 4, a lot of Smash 4 tech carried over. Like a lot of it, like foot stolen, jab blocking being really, really huge, stuff like that. I could not do any of that. I didn't understand how it worked. I just never applied any of that. And they kind of reworked it a little bit. In Smash 4, you couldn't tech footstools. Awful. Just not very interactive at all. In this game, you can, so it's a lot better. But with jab blocking, it's like, oh, you literally just hit them with a move that does like minimal knockback, and then that's it. Where Smash 4 was better. You could do it like 3 times. You could jab block 3 times into whatever.
I'm going to be a really old Brawl boomer and say that both of those things are Brawl tech and not Smash 4 tech.
Oh, really? They were in Brawl? I never
Yes.
did anything fancy in Brawl.
Lucas had a D-tilt lock set up. Falco could laser lock. You could do it with jab too. It was a little less prevalent, like for sure, but yeah. And then footstooling is there too. Yeah.
Well, I think I saw Pikachu's like chain grab into something.
Yeah, he could jab lock with his little shitty head jabbed A thing. Yeah.
I hate it.
But it was way more prevalent in 4 because it was like a more viable kill setup for more people, basically.
Which was set up for most characters, like Mega Man.
And more characters could do it in 4. It was like ubiquitous in 4, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, like that was Mega Man was really not regarded as that great of a character in 4 until actually Yeti was kind of the one that came out, besides Kameme, obviously. But there was just Metal Blade, you could Z drop it into footstool. But the thing with Metal Blade was, and it still is, it has a certain amount of times that it could be dropped, and it's random.
Yeah.
So you could do it 8 times or once. So, it was just like,
it could be once. It could be that low.
It could be once.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's very inconsistent. But yeah, just in general though, the polarizing matchup stuff, it's bad. I'm not going to say it's not, like for instance,
no one wants to play a 3-7 if they don't have to.
Like,
okay.
Well, for instance, out of state, I fought a Pikachu, and he went Roy game 1, and I just destroyed his Roy. And then he went Pikachu, and I'm instantly like, okay, this is going to kind of suck. And like most players that play really good characters, and I'm playing Plant, they're already in their head like, oh, easy, I'm going to win this, no problem. But then when you give them a run for their money, they're just like, oh,
and that's my favorite thing, when their mind breaks and you have already won the set because they can't believe they're losing with their amazing top tier character.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, because I think that's probably the big reason I like Plant, besides he's just goofy and his special moves are really fun. He forces you to, he's kind of like Snake in the way where you can't just do whatever you want. You can't just be up and above me constantly. You can't just drop your shield and do whatever.
They set the pace. They set the pace of the game.
Right. And like with Pikachu, I was like, man, this sucks. But it's like, he really liked to jump up around me and quick attack me. I'm like, okay, you can do that, but you're also going to take 16 every time. That's always my thought process in almost every match. You can do whatever you want to do, but you're taking 16. And
Mike Ross has a line from the old Street Fighter days where every time he'd trade, he'd be like, "Nice trade, pleasure doing business with you." Like,
but it's true.
Honda wins every trade. Yeah.
No, it is. Yeah, people get pissed. They're just like, he just keeps trading, and it's like the possibility of them just not doing that move never enters into their consciousness. They just keep doing it and getting pissed that you're trading with them.
Well, that was one of the big things was I had a really bad down B habit as Plant. It was horrible. Like it
down
was
the pot thing where he goes in and okay, the stem shot or whatever. Okay,
long stem strike. Yeah,
long stem strike.
Yeah, they just call it LSS. I just call it down B because people know it for that.
I can get down with that.
I did it a lot, and it did work a lot. I almost beat Serac one of the times we fought each other because of that. And every time that Diz watched my sets, he's like, you just keep down being and getting punished for it. And I was like, yeah, it's just like one of those comfort things. He's like, it's a really shitty move. You should not do
it's punishable. Yeah.
Don't get hurt.
High payoff.
I was like,
but high risk.
He always said he said, and I always online it's different because online it's just awful. But
yeah,
offline, he was like, honestly, if your opponent respects it and knows how to punish it, don't use it at all. But if they don't know how to punish it and don't respect it, abuse the fuck out of it. Just do it as much as possible. And I just do that. I've beaten people with just that, basically that move. I barely even patu. I just down B.
So moves like that are super good. I agree
Yeah.
with that philosophy because that's like my character in Street Fighter 4, Oni, had some shit like that where it was like, do they know how to deal with this thing? And if they didn't, you just win for free. And I think that's super good for tournament fatigue. Like to check those, like you can just advance through the lower rungs of the tournament because people just don't know how to deal with your shit. And I think that's like actually a really good thing to have because you're not wasting unnecessary brain power on beating players that don't know how to deal with it.
Yeah, I agree. That's kind of why, like, when I play Mega Man, the biggest thing, and I think this just goes for Mega Man in general, but you can play Mega Man different ways. He's almost like a swordy to a degree.
That character's flexible as fuck, dude.
Yeah,
you can do play anything.
Him whatever. I play him very lame, so I'm going to pellet spam you.
I am amazed. I am shocked.
Yeah, and if you can't deal with pellets, you're probably taking 50% worth of 1% damage until you get frustrated, and then I kill you with my 50 billion kill moves. And that's the thing. That's what he has. And even Sephiroth, a lot of people will probably say fair and bare, like looking at surface level, that's probably what you're going to do. He's honestly, he kind of feels more like Ike with a projectile because you nair a lot. Nair can combo into bear, into nair again, to fair. It can also combo into side B. So like there's a lot of stuff with nair because it's really quick. It's like -5. If you have wing, it's -4. It's really safe. Poking is good, but it's also kind of like whenever I played Byleth, I remember I F smashed you when you were Ganondorf. I was like, man, this is really safe. You're like, no, I bet I could punish it. I just wasn't aware of it. And I was like, no, man, it's super safe. Hit you with the tipper. You literally ran up and just like grabbed me. And I was just like, oh, I guess it's not safe. Like that's super laggy option. Like the frames to run up and then grab, like that's not safe. And it's just like, when I think about it, like, unless you perfectly space fair and bear as Sephiroth, it's not really safe. Like you can't just keep doing it. You have to respect it, sure, but side B is stupid safe. If you don't charge it at all, you don't even really have to be like max
quick like non-charge side B, is really, really good. And if you hit them with it, it's like the pressure they get, even though they don't immediately take damage, the pressure they're under for like having to shield the little rotating ball thing, it's like you could get a free grab, you could get shield pressure and break their shield with his stupid down smash.
And then you get a kill with like 10.
Sephiroth is neat. Sephiroth is maybe the very neatest DLC character ever in this game.
Joker, everybody agrees with that. I do.
Not after Joker, Alex. Joker's done. We don't like Joker on this podcast, Alex.
Wait, are we talking about DLC characters for Smash in general? Because I think Bayo still is probably at the top.
No, we're talking about Smash Ultimate. If we were, I would drive to your house and punch you in the face, but we're not. And so you are conveniently disqualified.
I think it is pretty much universal that people think Sephiroth is the best DLC. Just even like overall, like even balance wise, he's really just fine.
He's really good, overall. But he's not too good. He's not bad. I think he's probably, he feels like a mid-upper character to me. He could be mid, he could be high. I don't know, but it's too early to know.
I'm pretty good about this kind of stuff. I put him probably like right next to Cloud, to be honest.
That sounds perfect. Cloud is like mid, upper, or low, or upper, mid, or low, high, basically. Most people consider him around that area.
Top 20, top 25, something like that.
That sounds perfect.
Because like even with, for instance, Min Min, that's been a lot of debate lately. That character is broken. And so many people are like, she's okay. I'm like, that character is high tier easy. And if she did not have such a shit recovery, she might be top 5.
She's just so weird. So people don't play against her. But like that, dude, there's shit where she can literally just, and it's not even that crazy of a setup for her to do. I don't remember what it is. It's something like she does like a throw into an aerial into like the forward smash that hits like the other time with the dragon. And she can kill anybody in like 3 hits from like 0% at the ledge. It's like fucking insane.
So,
like, why?
It's literally a combo. Literally 2 hits. You back throw, and then you angle her F smash dragon upwards. If they do not jump or do anything, they die.
Yeah.
At 0%,
That's so
dead
stupid.
on ledge. And that's the
It's
thing. Like,
stupid.
so you don't even do that. You just hit them twice. They take 60 or something. Like,
I don't understand why
dumb.
she has so much kill power. I don't get it.
either.
Yeah,
That distance doesn't make any sense.
I don't get it at all.
Two
Yeah,
kill throw.
dude, Min and Steve, like, I just try to forget that they
Pretend
exist.
they don't exist. Yeah.
Yeah.
I might have a unpopular opinion about Steve. I don't think Steve's that great. I think he's probably mid tier.
Oh,
he's
it's
just,
not he's just dumb.
He's stupid.
He's just
so many
dumb.
people say he might be top tier or like top of high tier. A lot of people say.
I thought it looked
I
like he
don't-
was going to be. It seems like they nerfed a lot of shit from the trailer. They showed a lot of shit in the trailer that seemed nuts, and like he doesn't seem nearly as good as I thought he was going to be, which is good because I thought he was going to be broken, and he's not. But I still hate him. I still don't want him to exist.
Isaac
thought
from
one-
Golden Sun is not in that game, and Steve is. It's stupid. Why
Wait,
play
isn't
Smash?
Isaac assist trophy? Isaac
Yeah,
assist
he's an assist trophy. Yeah, that's worse. He's
Sick.
in jail.
trophy. A lot of people
He's
don't
with
like that,
Waluigi in
yeah.
purgatory.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah, it's just when I played Min, my whole thought process on why I thought Min was good is exactly why I think tier high tier. If I could pick up the character day one and just demolish people in their mains, or at least give them a run for their money, I'm like, this character has to be at least pretty good. Like, just my initial thoughts. I was like, this character has to be good. Because, like, even like Banjo, I was like, side B is broken, but just playing him, I'm like, he's really not that good. Like, when I play him, I feel like I'm playing smaller plant. You know, like, it's just not that great. But like Joker, you don't even have to be really that great at Joker, but you get Arson, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, this character's
Dude.
actually pretty good.
Yeah, Joker is an abomination.
He's a great character though. Like honestly, I do have to agree. He might be. I do not like Joker, right? I don't like playing against Joker. He does nothing for me, but I do think as far as the DLC, they did a really good job with him. He's very fun to play. You can lap him. You can just mash buttons with him. He does look good. Like, he has fun moves to use.
He's
Memento
the
should
kind
be
of character
tournament
I would prefer to be a top tier. As much as I think he's,
Yes.
I don't understand
Yeah,
why he gets as much privilege as he does. Is I think the real animosity about him is like, I just don't understand why he gets to be so privileged. But like, if you have to have a character be dominant in a meta, Joker is a good example of that. I feel the same way about like Brawl Meta Knight. As much as everybody always talks about how crazy he was, like, the character's fun to watch. He's fun to play against. Like, he's a good character to rally behind. But like, if your meta centralizing character is, I don't know, Bayonetta, then everything is fucking awful because she doesn't play the same game. She doesn't play the same. Like, as much Joker does at least play the video game of Smash Brothers. Yeah. You know what I mean?
That's the thing I will
Marvel.
say.
Yeah,
I love Marvel.
The thing with Joker is I'd rather fight Joker over like Pikachu or Palu pretty much any day, because with Joker, I don't know, I feel like he allows me to play at least. That's kind of thing where you fight Palu, she's top tier because she just destroys most people's gameplay. Like, your whatever your game plans are, she just says no. You know, like, if you want to camp, her projectiles are kind of better most of the time. Like, she controls space really well. She has a lot of disjoints. Like, Nair and Up Air have no business being that good of disjoints.
I've never minded fighting her. I don't understand why people hate her so much.
I don't like fighting her.
I know she's really good. Like, she's definitely like top 5 or close to it. But like, I just don't. I don't hate playing her at all. I don't like playing Pikachu, but that's only because of his stupid. I don't hate anything really about his moveset. It's all of his stupid like pancake bullshit and all that. Like that shit needs to be deleted.
Can't edge guard the character pretty much at all ever.
I don't like any characters that can't be edge guarded. Yeah, I
can't
hate
do that for Palu really either. You kind of can, but if they know how to do their angles right, you really can't.
So I'm going to disagree with that. I agree with that in that exact instance. So yes, if she does the angle right, then you can't do anything, correct? But that means you're edge guarding her too late in her recovery. Because if you go out farther, like if you get her like a mid far percent, you can't edge guard her because then if she up Bs, you physically won't make it back.
Oh, yeah.
So you can't edge guard her close to the stage. Like, you have to go deep. So if she's already close to the stage, then you just let her up B. Because, like, she's going to up B. You're fine. or she's gonna be fine. But like if you hit her out like far enough, but she doesn't die, I can even get out there with Ganon. I got that. I beat Globo that one time, and everyone thought it was hype. I got a couple of those where like you hit him far enough out. He's like, I remember that. He rolls his eyes. He's like, I hate this.
No, I popped off too. They're like, yo, metal.
Yeah, he destroyed me the very next game when he ran it back. Yeah. But yeah.
Honestly, I actually have a funny global story with that. When I beat him, I rewatched my Maryville set against him, where I think I 3-1'd him.
Shit. What a guy.
I remember I was like watching it. He was so frustrated and annoyed that after that set, I think I had to play like Tim shortly after. And then I went like back into the friendly area. He comes over. He's like, hey, do you mind playing like friendlies? I was like, sure. And I was like, hey, I'm going to tell you right now, you could just counter everything I did. He's like, everything? I was like, yeah, like down B. He's like, yeah, dude, you kept hitting me with that. Yeah, you could just counter that. Poison? Yeah, you just counter that. Patui? Yeah, you could counter that. It's all reflectable. It's all counterable. We played like just like 5 plays. Not even kidding. I did down B once. He countered it. He goes, oh, that character sucks.
Like he instantly like realized like how bad your character was.
Yeah, like right away I was like, yeah, Palu it's not that it's not doable, but I can't use any of my B moves against Palu unless I know it's going to hit. And
you have to get him in a super disadvantaged position where you can't use him in neutral, basically.
Yeah. Like probably one of my favorite things with Patui, even if I'm not really able to use it. On ledge, I'll stand at the distance I'm going to use Patui to cover things, and then I'll just run up and hold Patui because it catches neutral get up attack, and jump. Like it's stupid. Or I can double fake out and stand there, and then that makes you want to roll. And if I preemptively throw Patui at roll distance, well, you get hit. So I'm covering
busted everything. Character top 1.
Nerf
plant. Nerf plant.
Dude, his ledge trapping is by far my favorite thing about that character. There's no question. His
ledge trapping is legit. It's sort of like how Ganon up air is legitimately one of the best up airs in the entire game, even though Ganon is ass. Ganon up air is literally one of the best up airs in the entire game. Like I would say top 5 of all up airs in the entire game of Smash Ultimate. Ganondorf has one of the best ones.
With that up air, it makes me feel awful. Like it's just you don't think he's going to be able to hit it, and then he just knocks you the fuck.
I get like an actual injection of like heroin into my body basically every time if I run off fast fall up air, just run off the ledge, fast fall up air immediately. Oh god, it feels so good.
It's 3 frames startup. I've got UFD pulled up. It's 3 frames startup. It's got more kill power than Giga Flare. Ganon sucks.
It has 1 frame of end lag. It's plus 10 on shield.
Plus 10 on shield.
Yeah, but besides that, just overall, I think as far as goals, I'm gonna be watching a lot more Sephiroth VODs. I think I'm gonna put a lot of time into him. Just because I think he's really cool. I think he's a solid character too. My Mega Man's just fine in general. I think a lot of the plant gameplay just kind of transferred over to him a lot. Any zoner, I can kind of just play like I play plant, kind of. So with Mega Man, the thing is with him, Metal Blade is kind of Patui for me. It leads into everything. It's basically Metal Blade into imagination. I can do whatever I want after Metal Blade.
The rainbow.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm pretty clean with that stuff. So it's like if Sephiroth doesn't work out, I can just go back to Mega Man, when offline comes out. So those are like the 2 for sure I want to play, unless of course we randomly get blindsided by another amazing DLC.
Another DLC or something. Yeah, I'm definitely curious to see how Sephiroth develops. I guess time goes on. It'll be interesting because he's got some pretty cool stuff in his kit. And even if I don't play him, which I almost certainly won't, I think he'll be a neat character to watch for sure. I haven't felt that way in a while. Like with the
same
with the DLC.
Same.
Yeah.
That's also the one thing I was kind of thinking of. Like, Byleth was actually kind of popular, even though they were like pretty much just hated. Nobody wanted another Fire Emblem character.
I don't love Byleth, but I don't understand the hate either. Like, another Fire Emblem. Like, whatever. Shut up. It's fine.
People should have known there's going to be another Fire Emblem character, and there's probably going to be another Pokemon. It's probably going to happen. Probably gonna happen.
Dude, if they had like Sandshrew as a grappler, oh my god.
No,
oh my god.
Can't have that.
It's gonna be drowsy.
Dimes isn't listening, but Sandshrews his favorite Pokemon, so he would probably lose his mind.
Oh, I love
if they had
Sandshrew.
it.
He's my favorite Pokemon, or second favorite. He's up there. He's like top 3 for sure for me. I love Sandshrew.
But yeah, I
Alex
was like
likes
thinking about
Drowsy.
like
I do like
Drowsy.
Drowsy. Drowsy's my boy.
Drowsy is a good Pokemon too. I think Byleth Kit's actually fun, even though Sephiroth is literally just better Byleth. Which I think is kind of disrespectful, honestly, to make that character that a lot of people actually want to like that character. I think just overall, like Byleth fell off, Min was never really a thing. Even Terry's kind of fell off. Steve fell off drastically. I very rarely see Steve. I think Sephiroth is going to stand out. Probably always. Sephiroth's going to be kind of like Joker in the he's good, and people can just kind of pick up and play him, and people gravitate towards that character enough where even like lower to mid-level to even high-level players are probably still going to play him. So he's not. I don't think he's going anywhere.
The IP is strong. It helps to be like a cool character that is known.
Yeah.
I mean that always, I think that's
Like
part
Joker,
of it.
yeah.
It's part of it with Joker. Even if Joker wasn't good, people.
Yeah. That's how I feel, because like if you look at most of the DLCs, they've pretty much all fallen off besides the few people that were like, holy shit, I love this character, or oh wow, this character is really fun to play. Like Hero, there's a few people, a few stragglers.
None of them have really done much. I think Terry's probably the next most played one, probably, besides Joker.
After Joker, yeah.
Joker, yeah. I would probably say Terry, but I don't see Terry's. I see more Kens than Terry.
I don't see anybody. It's COVID.
COVID.
Yeah.
He plays on the internet, Alex. It's very
not
laggy.
me.
Yeah, we can't be
You can
bothered.
catch me playing on the internet.
We're too old.
Just
old.
I watch like all the brackets, the Mega Smash Mondays, Xanadu on Tuesdays, Lunchbox, which is Hungry Box's tournament on Wednesdays. So like I still just don't see any of the DLC picks, like ever. Joker, sure, but like just nobody. And it is kind of weird. I think if Banjo was better, he would really be played a lot more. Honestly, he would be. But even picking that character up is so
he's
foreign.
Weird. Yeah. He's a weird character to play.
He's basically like a mix between like Snake and kind of Plant a little bit. His Nair is kind of Plant-ish, but it's crap. His Nate is like Snake's, but crap. His side B is really bad. Even though it's invincible, it's really not a good move. He just has a lot that kind of sucks, to be honest. Oh, there's the cat that doesn't like my bird calls.
Harper was biting my toes and wouldn't leave me alone, so I had to pick her up.
That's fair.
I'm trying to make a podcast here, cat.
Hold on, I need to use the bathroom.
Right. Actually, quick. I think we're probably about to close up, so if you want to wait for 2 seconds.
Cool. Sure.
Because we've been going, it's about an hour and a half, so I think we'll hang up. So, yeah.
5-year plan. I want to do 5 more years of Afterburner kicks. How about you guys?
I'm going to do 5 more years of World of Warcraft and never play a fighting game ever again. I'm dead to you all.
until Arthas or Illidan get announced for Smash, and then
okay. I would play the fuck out of those guys.
I would play the fuck out of Arthas or Illidan. 100%.
All right. Well, I have been MetalMusicMan here, and
I've been Professor Lex.
And Raichu, you have been you. Say you've been you.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've been level 40 Raichu.
Good. Keep it up.
We will catch you guys
change.
next time. See ya.
Bye.
See you guys.